Yeah, so Channel Islands and Troy and Devon, they were all working on a Noserider board with Wayne Rich obviously being the shaper of the board, and wanted to get a fin made for that board. Troy and Devon worked together to, kind of bring me some ideas of what a fin should be, and so we got a couple of curves together and made a concept fin, and so I just kind of made that, and both Troy and Devon rode this fin. It was fairly close, but with just a conversation, which is pretty cool. And then we got Wayne involved, and so Wayne submitted a template. Here's prototype number 1. Well, Wayne definitely has his signature curves, and that's one thing about Wayne that I really respect, and makes it a joy to work with him in that way, because I kind of know what curves he's already going to throw out. I made that, and it's, spec'd out a little bit of flex. We wanted a fuller leading edge down here at the bottom half of the fin. Got a lot of base, so we're going to get a lot of holding when you're, just driving down the line. But when you turn with a little bit narrower tip, this is Wayne's kind of signature. And so still should have enough hold on the tip, according to Wayne. Troy and Devon both rode that. The waves were pretty good. Like in that testing period of time, Rincon was doing pretty well. And so they got some really good feedback pretty quickly, actually. And so I think right away, we decided that we wanted a little bit off of the base was just a little bit long. We wanted a little bit off of the leading edge down at the base. So shortened that up and got to a version 2. And this was pretty much the fin that both Troy and Devon really liked. And didn't quite make the leading edge as full as the, first kind of request was. And there's not much flex in a fin like this, but there is some give, which is obviously very important for having a sensitive board. But those guys were nose riding and turning and rail turning, which is pretty sweet. To be able to get both of those things in a nose rider board is kind of a big ask. And so there's pretty basic concepts of a knifey leading edge being very tracky, and so it's pretty hard to break out of a turn, but you're going to be going pretty fast. And so, but with a rounder leading edge, you're going to be able to roll into a turn. It's going to flow. The flow feels a lot better. You might not feel like you're going as fast, but at the same time, you got a lot of control in your turn, which is kind of what those guys really want in that board. And then with a little bit more pulled in tip in the foil up here, it allows for a lot of sensitivity. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds in a bigger fin like this. So you can do that compound foil. Mm-hmm. Here's the 10.25, and then the request was for a 9.75. So we have 2 sizes for that series. And basically, I'm just eyeballing and scaling what I think the base and the rake should be. And so it took a little bit out of the base, but these are all the same curves. They're still the same curves, but yeah, it's just, I'm drawing it all over again, basically, with the numbers that, get attached to, so taking 10.25 to 9.75. Kind of my style, so everybody's going to have their own style of how they scale.
That's right.
But you can't put it on a copy machine. It doesn't work on a copy machine. Yeah. The more information I can get, but working with Devon and working with Wayne, I know those two people really well. And so I know their language. which is very helpful, but it doesn't mean that I can start from scratch with anybody. But the more information I can get, like, you know, do you want a fast fin? Do you want a flexi fin? Do you want a thick fin? Like, there's all these different criteria you can put in a fin. And Devon certainly put in, you know, all the criteria. So it wasn't much for me to create that, given all the information I got from him. It's the board and the fin, because there's a bunch of different ways that you can build a surfboard to nose ride, and so complementing that surfboard with a nose riding fin is sort of, it's the shaper's call kind of more than the fin maker's call. See what I'm saying? Yeah, that's sort of why I even started in the very beginning, is to make the shaper's dream come true. It's, you know, it's a component of the surfboard, a really super important component, and the better you create the component for the surfboard, the fin, you know, the better the surfing's going to happen. Interfacing with the shaper and the surfer to create, you know, the ultimate experiences, you know, for whatever kind of surfing it is, from, you know, 2-foot log riding to, you know, 20-foot cloud break, you know, it's all, yeah, it's epic.